how much concern you have for yourself. Okay, makes sense. Assertive means how much concern you have for yourself. So if you have a very high concern for yourself, basically you are a selfish person. And if you have a high concern for the other person, that means you are a very cooperative person. So if you look at this 2 by 2 matrix, and if you notice that the person who has low concern for self and low concern for other person, he usually tends to avoid the situation. Okay, so these are the kind of people who do not care about themselves much, and they also do not care about the other person also. So I'm sure if you can think about people in your life, it could be in your family, profession, could be friends, where you see that people do not care much about you, but then try to think about a situation where they even care about themselves. They are usually the passive aggressive kind of people who usually let things to be passive and do not and just wait out for the situation to improve instead of taking any positive action, or instead of taking any movement towards achieving any goal. Okay, so these, as you can see, it is cooperative low, assertive also low. These are the people who try to avoid any problem or any situation. So can you think of any people in your life who are like this? Just type yes in the chat box, so I know that you are listening to me. Can you think of someone? Okay, so can anyone just explain with an example? I really don't want to know any names. Raise your hand and can just want to share something about a personal example where there are people who just avoid the situation and don't take any positive action. Anyone among the people who have said yes? Rahul Nair, Bhavna Garg, Ash Patnaik. Anyone who have said yes would like to share? Kirti, Swasti Chakrabarti. Anyone? Deepak, anyone has raised their hand? I cannot see basically.
No, I don't think anybody is
So
raising their hand.
nobody would like to
And
share
I am
anything.
sorry.
Can I just point out one person? Uh, Swasti Chakravarti. Can you share something? I saw you said yes. Would you like to share something?
Rahul is now
Yeah.
raising.
Yeah. Okay,
I
Swasti.
I would love to share, but I think there are two people already who are raising their hands. So what would you like to do? I mean, should I go ahead?
Yeah. Please go ahead. Oh, sorry, it's
Okay.
Shravasti. My bad.
Yeah, no problem. So
Yeah.
such kind of people who tend to avoid difficult situations, we tend to find a lot of them in our workplaces. Suppose there's a colleague who sits on the fence, who is not ready to take a concrete decision of either saying a complete yes or a complete no at the departmental level. I think such people are those who prefer to avoid difficult situations rather than taking a stance, and that does create quite a bit of a problem, really.
Okay. Fine. Fine. Thank you for sharing. So moving on. Then the second kind of person is a person who is very competitive, right? It says competing person. So that person has a very high sense of concern for self, and they really do not care too much about the other person, right? So, and I'm sure that you find this kind of people in the athletic world, where you have to be, or in the sports world where you have to be very competing. Otherwise, you will not win the game. So the place where you need to be competing is a place where you can win something for your own country or for yourself, is a sports. But in a day-to-day negotiation, say for example, if the situation is a workplace, right, and you are dealing with and you have a team member who is always worried about himself, his work, and is not cooperative with anyone else, so then that will create a problem. So imagine a situation where there is a person who is highly assertive. That means he has a high concern for self, and he is not very cooperative with someone else. So usually, and there is a person who is highly cooperative. If they are together working, who will benefit most out of the situation? Who will benefit most out of the situation? Anyone? Anyone
The
would
one
like
who's
to? Yes.
competitive.
Yeah, thank you, Vishesh. So the person who has a high concern for self will always be better off in that situation, because the other person is a cooperative person and he has a higher concern for the other person. So both of them together, it will create a dynamic in which the person who is more selfish could be more selfish or could have more concern for self, will benefit out of that situation. So what should a person who is more cooperative with the other person, what should that person do in that particular situation? What should that person do? Any answer? He has to change his behavior and have to become a little bit more concerning for his own needs. So if you have a family member or if you have friends who are always concerned about themselves and they're not concerned about you, and you end up always being, and if you are the kind of person who are always giving and loving and always playing to the needs of the other person, then what will happen? Eventually there will be a time where you will feel that your needs are not being met, and your relationship with that person will create a problem, and eventually you will move apart. It could be friendship, it could be a relationship, it could be even a parent children relationship, it could be any kind of relationship. But the thing is that a person really needs to or also care about himself or herself, and also be able to see the needs of other people. Then it will be a wonderful relationship. The next one is the third quadrant, which is accommodating, where a person has a very sorry, the fourth one is the collaborating, which is like a perfect situation, but usually that only plays out about 10 to 20% of the time, when a person is cooperative as well as he has a high regard for his own needs. He also has a high regard for his needs, and he also has a regard for other people's need. Usually these are the kind of thing which happens, which you will mostly see it in is in military. Okay, when people are in team and they have to go on a mission and they have to save their own life, but at the same time they have to save the lives of their fellow military personnel, because that is one of the most important requirement on how collaborative you are or how cooperative you are in a situation. Otherwise, if you are a selfish person, and if you are in a military, the only thing will happen, the only person will survive is you, and everyone else will be dead, and you will lose the war or the battle. Is it making sense? And the final one is compromising, which is basically a theory of negotiation where you win some and where you lose some. Okay, so that is like the middle way. But the ideal situation is collaborative, which is very challenging in a corporate world, where people are always jostling and competing to move ahead. And while there are certain people who are always accommodating and they are constantly feeling that their needs are not being met, and and there are certain people who tend to avoid the situation because they are they're trying to avoid the situation because they are very passive and laid back. Okay, is this making sense? Then I will move on to the next idea. Okay. Okay. So the next thing, when we are talking about conflict, usually we are talking about conflict in a team. You can always have a conflict between two people, but we are talking about conflict in team and how to improve our decision making in a team environment. So the first thing, which a point which I have written down, is a group synergy. A team's thought process will always be, a team's decision will always be every single person in a team has a specific agenda. So let's take an example of Toastmasters club with an EC team. So can you imagine an EC team with a president, VP education, VP membership, treasurer, VP PR, secretary? Can they all have a different agenda? Is it even possible? Anyone from the EC would like to answer? I'm not taking an example of our club's EC, so please don't take it in that manner. But I'm just talking in general because Kolkata Toastmasters Club EC, it is related with everyone and everyone can understand easily. So anyone from EC can say that is it possible that different members of the EC can have a different agenda? Is it possible?
Yes, Siddharth, it is possible that they might have
Great.
different agendas, because different roles accordingly might have different agendas, but end of the day the motive is the same, to take the club forward. So it comes
Okay.
down to one.
Okay, fine. So Gurpreet said that everyone has a larger goal of to take the club forward, but everyone has could have a same agenda. But the point is, what I'm trying to get at is that even in a club, a very niche club like Toastmasters, you can have a conflicting agendas. For example, a VP memberships agenda will be to increase the number of members for the club. Okay, so that is a very simple agenda. You can increase the number of members for the club. However, it has a conflict with the VP education, because if you get any person in the club who is not even suitable for the club, right, and it will be difficult for the VP education to chase and get members to speak or give deliver speeches. If the member is not good, or if the member is not qualified, then it has a little bit of a conflict with the VP membership role. A VP membership is always happy to increase the number of members. But what about the quality of the members? That is more concerning towards the VP education's role. I'll give you another example about the area director. So the area director always answers to the district above him, and his role is to get all the clubs under him to become distinguished. So say for example, if an area director has 4 clubs under him, okay, and he is part of one of the club. So if that particular club becomes president distinguished, but the other 3 clubs do not even become distinguished, his role, he will not be able to fulfill his role. So even though he is a member of one particular club, because he is the area director, his role requires him to pay more attention and focus to the clubs which are weaker than the clubs which are stronger. Even if all the 4 clubs become distinguished, he will fulfill his roles and requirements. So I've seen in many examples in the past where area directors have been chastised because they were favoring their own club. They were supposed to create their team, and they got 2 or 3 people from their own club, and eventually it was not liked by the clubs which were under him. Why? Because they thought that it was not fair. So if you go on to become the area director, my simple suggestion would be to take members from different clubs, so as not to come across as partial or unfair to the members of other club. Okay, so you have to always focus on your own role among the team. And so this is moving towards being assertive. You have to always focus on your own role in a team of what you want to achieve, but at the same time you also need to be cooperative and think about the needs of the other people. So going back to the previous example, the VP membership needs to increase the number of members, but he also has to focus on the need of the VP education, which is to get quality members inside, right? So he can have a certain process of interviewing people, trying to get to know them, try to find out about them, and before inducting them into the club. Is it making sense? And one of the biggest challenges in a team environment is about managing emotions. So there are many different kind of people. Some people would get angry at a drop of a hat. Some people are very calm. Some people get very angry very quickly, and some people just want to talk it out, and talk so much that they do not want to even reach a solution. They just want to talk it out. For example, I would like to give an example. About a month back, we had a team meeting. We usually have one team meeting every month, and one of my office designer, he was complaining a lot about how different people are not listening to him, and we should make a WhatsApp group of all the people so that everyone should have the same access to same information. I said, fine, please go ahead and make the WhatsApp group. I really don't have any problem. We anyways had a WhatsApp group, but he wanted to create a smaller WhatsApp group of 5 people. And I knew he was that kind of a person who will always say things, but he will never do things by himself. And I'm sure you always have come across in your life with your friends, family, and other people who say a lot of things that you should do, but they themselves will not do. Wherein I asked him a very simple thing, to make a small WhatsApp group. And I even said in front of about 20 people in my team that I would challenge you that you will not be able to make this WhatsApp group in the next 30 days. Okay, this happened on 17th of September, and we are on 9th of October, and he still has not made the WhatsApp group, because I know this person for the past 3 years. So, and this person will always want to talk and always want to convey his emotions to the other people. So I really don't have a problem with it. But since I know about this emotion, so you should if you are a team leader, you should be able to understand the other person's emotions and work with that. The next point I want to get across is everyone has a different set of information. So whenever we are in working in a team, I'll again take an example of an EC, that different people have different kind of information available to them. For example, the president and VP education usually get access to information quicker than the other members of the team as well as the other club members of the club, because the president and the VP education gets access from the district. The information first flows to them. And if you are in an EC meeting and then the president and if there is a conflict about certain decision, people usually are fighting because they have access to different information. A VP PR or a VP membership or sergeant arms will not have that much access to information as the information which is has access with the president. So the idea is, if you want to increase the team effectiveness, try to ensure that everyone is working with the same amount of information. And it is also very important that in a corporate world, different people like the marketing, the sales, the production, or for that matter, finance, they will have all have different kind of information. I run a manufacturing unit, and most of the time I used to see, and now I've solved this problem, but back in the day, about 4 or 5 years back, I used to find that different people are always fighting with each other because they have different information. So say, for example, if I have to make a certain product, and whether the product parts are ordered or not, the production in charge has a different number, the marketing person has a different number, the accounts has a different number, the purchase manager has a different number for the same quantity which is in the lying in the factory, and everyone is giving a different count for the same. So we created a system where everyone will have a different, everyone will have the same access to information through Google Sheet. That is a separate thing I can talk about. But if you can get access to information together, then you will have a wonderful team effectiveness. Anyone has any thoughts, any comments, any questions till now? Anyone like to share something where they experience something that when people had different information and which created problems in their organization or with their friends? Usually this happens in a organization where you are working. Anyone like to share anything? Anyone? No one is
Hi,
saying anything?
Siddharth.
Yeah.
Hi. I work in one of the big four. So my work is.
Aparajita?
Hi, Siddhant.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So my whole job is to audit, where I try to find instances where such a discrepancy of information between two people has actually caused problems.
Okay, can you elaborate a little bit?
So I will not go into technicalities, but so I am currently reviewing a procurement process for a hospital.
Okay.
So while a sales manager thinks it's a very basic discrepancy where the sales manager thinks that a vendor is supplying a respective product at 10 rupees, while the team which is procuring it buys the product at 20 rupees. So such a discrepancy between two people will lead to a gross loss of 5 rupees for the organization.
Okay. So thank you for sharing. So this was a very simple example where two people, the purchase team and the sales team in a same company, has access to different information which is creating problem. Recently, I was working. I had a potential client with whom I was speaking, and I had 3 separate meetings with their 3 different team departments. The first meeting was with the purchase team, where they were telling me their requirements. The second meeting was with their commercial team, which discussed the prices. And the third meeting was with their marketing team, which were discussing the technicalities of the bags which we were making. So can you imagine 3 different team members of the same company is meeting with a vendor in this case and discussing things, and it created a huge amount of problem, because when I first started the meeting with the purchase manager, I did not know at that point in time that I will have 3 separate meetings. And then it created an internal chaos in their organization because everyone had a different set of information from the same vendor. Even though I said the same thing to all 3 of them, they all had their own understanding of the same thing, and it became a big mess. And I requested them to meet together, for which they refused. They said that everyone will have their own timings and everything, blah blah blah, and because of which they refused. And eventually we had to write a common email to everyone to sort this out, but it took about week 10 days. So the point is, what I'm trying to get across is that in order to increase team effectiveness, it is better to get everyone together, or to have like a group email. Or the things which is working very well for me right now is to put all the data which you want to talk about in a same place, like a Google sheet which has access to everyone. So that will help you in increasing the team effectiveness. uh, so thank you for sharing. Anyone else would like to share something? Because when you share like how Parajita shared right now, it gives a lot of context to what I'm trying to say, and it also gives meaning to what we are discussing, and it will be helping the other people also who might face this problem later on. So any one more example? Anyone has experienced anything similar to this, where they faced problem in a team meeting, or where there was a challenge, some sort of? Anyone? No?
Hello, this is Akash here.
Yeah, Akash, thank you so much. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I actually work in an automotive firm. I actually work in Ashok Leyland in the spare parts department. So
Okay.
recently, from 1st October onwards, there was a tax rule change actually regarding the sales and other
TCS.
stuff. Yes, the TCS that you're
Yes.
talking about. So this was actually new for all of us. We had a meeting earlier regarding this, but somehow this didn't spiral from the top to the bottom. Like it involves dealer personnel as well, the area manager and also the zonal manager. So due to this mixture of different types of information, there was a kind of a khichdi that was there, and as a result, what happened was that everyone was getting different billing amounts, and that created different tax collection rates and everything. So I mean that is a problem even now, and we are sorting it out on a daily basis. So that is basically what happens in this case.
So I have a quick question. So how often your team meets with each other? What is the
Uh,
frequency of the meeting?
Every week, this
Once a
topic we
week?
have a meeting. Yes.
So where all the different verticals or silos meet with each other?
Not the verticals, is basically all the regional and area managers actually who meet, and
No,
we
but are
are
they
the
from different verticals, or are they from the same vertical?
same vertical.
Okay, what? So then the issue will happen because different verticals will have different information, right?
Yes. From the
Right.
top to bottom, the information has gone in a different manner.
Okay, fine. So I have a very quick solution for you, and it will work for everyone else because this is how the world works. So whenever you have a meeting with your team where we'll have different silos, so marketing, sales, accounts, these are the different silos, and whenever they are working, they're focusing only on the things which they are supposed to do. So a salesperson will only focus on increasing sales. An accounts person will always try to ensure that all the account procedures and systems are followed. But people do not understand that they have a strong linkage of accounts with sales, with purchase, with operations, with manufacturing. Everything's are linked together. It is like a body. Okay. So if one part of the body doesn't work, the other part will always have some sort of effect on it. Okay. So the idea is to have a frequency of the meeting with different silos. So it could be depending on your team needs and everything, but it has to have frequency. The frequency could either be weekly, it could be bi-weekly, it could be monthly, or it could be quarterly, right? And if you repeat the same, and it goes on for for 6 months, for 9 months, and for 12 months, right? So either it should be weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, and then quarterly. Okay. And we can have another workshop depending on how we should pan out these meetings, but these meetings are very important for the flow of information. Okay, so let's think about an example. When how humans usually learn. Humans usually learn, let's take a very simple example of going to school, right? School, you read a lot of books, even as an adult you can read a lot of books, then why would you need a mentor or why would you need a teacher? Because we humans learn more from each other than from by reading the books. By reading the books you can only read the lines which is given in the books, but what a teacher or a mentor can do is what they say what is in between the lines. Okay, so even the best athlete in the world has a coach because he cannot see the flaw in his own batting or I should not be using the word batting, but in his own performance, then then can be seen by some other person. So you really need a human to understand with each other. So what I'm trying to get is in a team meeting, when there is an accounts person, when there is a marketing, sales, operations, everyone is sitting together, they can talk it out, and once they talk it out, people will listen and they will understand. Okay, so the importance of meetings is that it has to have a rhythm. You cannot start a meeting once a week. uh, uh, in first week you will have it on a Monday, and in the next week you will have it on a Tuesday, and the third week you will have it on a Wednesday. That will not work because it has to have a rhythm. Think of team meetings as your heart which is beating, right? Imagine your heart decides to beat slower one day, and then next day it decides to beat a little bit faster, and then again it will be slower. What will happen to you? Everything will mess up, right? Your body will not work as effectively. Understand? So similarly, the team which meets, which does not mean meet, that means it is not even beating at all, right? But the team which meets every week or bi-weekly or quarterly, it has to have a rhythm. It should, if it meets every Monday, then whether rain comes or shine, whatever, it should meet every Monday. Okay, that way it will have an that way it will have an effect, and it will you the team will be very effective. And if you read any book on Steve Jobs, right, by Walter I forget his name, by Walter Steve, there is a book on Steve Jobs. If you read that book and you just focus on one chapter on team meetings, you will notice that he has a weekly meeting throughout the year. So imagine he has 52 weeks meeting with different product heads, with the accounts, with the management, everything, which ended up having such good results for the company. Similar things happen at Walmart, Google, Amazon. If you read any books on them, you'll find this is one common pattern which emerges out of all the companies which achieved big goals and go on to become companies which aspire to. Uh, I'll just quickly go on to this slide, which says there is a five stages of group development. So whenever there is a team which is newly made, the first thing which happens is forming. The second which happens is storming. Storming means is the highest level of conflict. So please do not worry about conflict whenever you are in a new team environment. The storming will always happen. And then the third stage is norming, where everything settles down. And finally, the fourth stage is performing, where there is a fully functional group. It could take from a week to 1 month to go from forming to performing, and finally adjourning when you are wrapping up the team. Is it making sense? So this is my last slide. Keep calm and manage conflict. What I'm so the purpose of this workshop was to just get you little bit think about how you behave in a conflict situation and how other people behave in a conflicted situation. What are their personal agendas? What are how they behave because of their personal agendas? How cooperative they are? How selfish they are? How you should change your own behavior depending on the behavior of the other person. So these are the certain things which I wanted to be a little bit aware of, because all conflicting situations are different and people have to behave differently in a different situation. But these are the certain things which I want you to be aware of, so that whenever you are in a situation like this, the next time around, you will be able to keep calm and manage conflict. Thank you so much.
What a great take on topic, Toastmaster Siddharth Jariwal. Like, I learned a lot from this session. As you know, I am also running a startup, so I'm planning to expand. So I'll have a team, different persons, accounting, sales, and all. And these team meetings, and I've noted everything down. I'm gonna do all these things. for an effective team work. I really liked the examples you took, the personal examples. You connected body parts with the team. You connected hard with the team meetings, regularity of the team meetings. Fantastic, fantastic job. Uh, moving on, moving on. It's time to share my lockdown experience with my father. My father is the man of principle, a very religious man who doesn't like nonsense talks, strict kind of person. This was my perception before lockdown. But during lockdown, I see a complete change. I got to know his likes, his dislikes. We used to have long discussions about politics, economy, business, and obviously Sushant Singh Rajput case. Before lockdown, whenever I used to talk to him, it used to be like impromptu session. It never lasted for more than 2 minutes. No digressing from the main topic, and I used to stutter a lot. But thanks to this lockdown period, we got enough time to connect comfortably. We have developed a very strong bond now. On that note, it's time for the most exciting part of the meeting, that is the table topic session, hosted by none other than Toastmaster Rahul Maheswari.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster today, Toastmaster Piyush. One amazing speech, a very insightful workshop, and before diving on to the very serious evaluation section, it's time to have a little fun. It's time to think on the feet, and it's time to take a part in something that can improve your communication magnanimously. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests. It is time for the impromptu speaking section, or the table topic section as we call it. The theme for the meeting is Lockdown Diaries. Well, in this corona situation during this lockdown, there are two kinds of people. One who've been unfortunate, and the others, if they've taken the situation in the right stride and did a lot for themselves, they've been fortunate. But there's one thing that is common between this unfortunate person and the fortunate person is that, and of course, among all of us, is that we've got a lot to learn from this situation. We've learned a lot. There are a lot of things that are changed in our life. There are a lot of things, the value of which we've understood now. And this thing is going to remain for the rest of our lives. I'm sure we're not hoping or we are not expecting such kind of a pandemic after this in any of our lifetime. But of course, even without this pandemic, it has taught us a lot, which I think we should abide by throughout our lives. You know, we've learned the importance of money savings. We've learned about how to connect with our family in our daily shenanigans. We always used to, put family on the backseat, but today we know how important our family is, right? We've learned how to keep our health in the good state. And among other things, we've also tried new things. I've tried this haircut and many such haircuts. You can see Toastmaster Deepak has tried this weird haircut of his. He's still looking very weird. Toastmaster Gurpreet had all this beard, now he's removed it. So we are trying new things with ourselves as well. And it is a good time to try new things as well. But the another good thing that you should start doing is coming up for table topics. And before coming up for table topic, before diving into the session, there are a few rules that we have to abide by. Few of which being the time for the table topic speech. A speaker has only 1 to 2 minutes, so no tension of speaking for a long time. You just have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes, and you have a 30-second grace period only on the upper hand, not on the lower hand. The timer will flash his green card at 1, yellow card at 1.5, and the red card at 2 minutes. The guests are allowed to change the topic only once, and that doesn't go for the Toastmasters. The guests, but I still want that the guests take up the topic that they've been given, because in table topics we actually learn that we have to deal whatever there is in our situation without worrying about the thing being tough or an easy topic, right? So I obviously there is an option to change the topic, but I suggest not to do that. Third one is that the topic is going to be repeated only once. So the first time that I tell the topic, listen to it carefully. The second time when I say it, confirm it. So the topic is only going to be repeated once. And third is because this is a virtual scenario, you are required to raise your hands like this, or maybe on the virtually. And our tech moderator, Toastmaster Deepak Baid, will help me with all those who raise their hands. So without any delay, let's dive into the fun session of any Toastmasters meeting, the table topic section. And I keep the floor open for participants.
I have an important thing to say. Is uh,
Yeah.
whoever will be speaking, kindly ping me because
He got stuck after because, but I will complete that. So before any speakers come on the stage, just pin Toastmaster Deepak's video so that whenever he changes his background, which is pretty cool right now, whenever he changes that background, you can see the changes in the time period and you can track your time period as well. So please pin Toastmaster Deepak before starting. Thank you, Deepak. And can we have the volunteers? Okay, I see Toastmaster Sumit and rest of them have, okay, they don't have the cameras on. All right. I'll do one thing, Toastmaster Sumit, I will come to you. But before that, I'm going to target certain people whose camera is off. And the first on my list is Toastmaster Komal Charadia. Toastmaster Komal, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes.
And also switch on your video.
Yeah, just give me a second.
Yeah. It is okay, you can take the second. Okay, Toastmaster Komal. Toastmaster Komal, memories are timeless treasures of the heart. Memories are the timeless treasures of the heart, Toastmaster Komal.
Good evening, everyone. When the first thing that came to my mind when I heard memories were the 4 years of college life that I spent in Bangalore. As you all know, the life of an engineer is nothing but fun and chill. So those 4 years I spent traveling with my friends, which I miss the most in the past 2 years that I've been at home. I miss the memories, I miss the freedom that I had to go out at any point of time, to have night outs, to not take permission, to come back at any point after 10 p.m., to not worry about what marks I got, because in the end you just have to tell them what whether you cleared your exams or not. The 4 p.m. chai sessions that I had with my friends, I still remember those. Even if those tea were 90% water and 10% milk, we still enjoyed it with that parle ji and the conversations that we had about uh, the warden and what she's doing to our lives and making it a hell. These are the memories, timeless memories that are still there in my heart, and all the memory, and that's helping me stay in this lockdown by because Snapchat has been a very good friend of mine. It's helping me remind all the memories over the past 4 5 years that I've had, and I think these memories are forever. Thank you.
Wow, what a great take on the topic, Toastmaster Komal. Memories and mixing it with engineering college life. You know, complete background, complete, background to Three Idiots and Chichore. But there was a moment when you said that engineering life is all about fun and chill. And Toastmaster Deepak over here has a completely different take on that. It's neither fun nor chill for him, and he's waiting for his engineering life to end, which I don't see ending near anytime soon right now. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Komal, for delivering that wonderful topic. And literally, when we talk about memories, we also bring out of some minute aspects like the chai that you said and the Parle G biscuit, more milk, less water. So I think when you talk about memories, you also bring out those minute things that are worth mentioning, and did exactly that. Thank you so much for that take. Okay. I have Toastmaster Ayush who's texted me, but before that, I will go to Toastmaster Ayush. I will come to you, but before that, the person who raised his hand first, Toastmaster Sumit, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, Toastmaster Sumit. Toastmaster Sumit, health is wealth. Health is wealth, Toastmaster Sumit.
Good evening, everyone. Health is wealth. Well, nothing can be more relatable to me than this statement. Because during this lockdown period, the only thing apart from skills I have gained is weight. Because earlier when I used to stay in Kolkata, I used to travel a lot. I used to walk around 5 kilometers a day.
8 months.
Going to school, going to college, then coming back to home, then going to tuition. So all in all, I used to have a good practice of walking, and I was able to control my weight. But after coming to my home, I am just eating and doing my stuffs on the home and staying and sleeping. So that is because I have gained so much weight and I am feeling it right now. So health is wealth is totally a correct statement for me, because now I have to work on myself to reduce my weight to get back to my normal weight that I used to have when I used to stay in Kolkata. So and now I am going for evening walks, and so that I have some kind of physical activity. Even during this lockdown phases, I used to play badmintons, but due to my exam, I have to stop that. But I still try to at least get a 30 minutes walk every day or more than that, so that I have some physical activity and keep my weight under control. So health is wealth is being rightly said, and I totally agree to with this. And I hope I will be able to get my weight to back to normal. Back to you, table topic master. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sumit, for that wonderful take. I'm sure your weight is going to be back to normal before the world is normal. So thank you so much for that lovely take on the topic. Well, I've got a few DMs over here, and I'll try my best to call. And before going, I'll get to the person. I'll call upon the person who pinged me first for this topic, and that is Toastmaster Ayush. Toastmaster Ayush, can you unmute yourself?
Sure. You're not audible. You're not audible. Hello.
Am I not audible?
Now you are.
Yeah, I'm audible. Everyone's showing me a thumb. Okay. Toastmaster Ayush, a penny saved is a penny earned. A penny saved is a penny earned. Toastmaster Ayush.
Thank you, table topic master. So I remember 2 years ago, I had told my father that I want a perfume. Before that, can I request that my camera is off? Is it that okay, table topic master? Is that permissible? Thank you.
Yes, you
So
can
I
go
had
ahead.
requested my father.
Yes.
I requested my father for a perfume, and he said, "Okay, take it." So he gave me a note of 1,000 rupees, and I was like, 5,000. Cost rupees 5,000 bucks, and I was shocked. It was what? Are you mad? You want 5,000 bucks? Seriously? I was like, yes. He said, okay. Next day, come to the office. I went to the office. He said, okay, now you have to do my work, and then I'm going to pay you for that. He told me to go with the staff to the warehouse. Now you need to search a particular product, give your time, and then after finding it, you need to pack it, then you need to load it into the truck, and then you need to wait it for the consignment copy to come, and then you come back to the office. I happily did that. It took 4 hours. When I came back, he asked, show me the consignment copy. And there he saw that it was written 5 bags. And he asked how many bags were there when you loaded the product. I said 6. And he said, it's written 5. Now you need to go back again and bring that to me. I went again in that scorching heat and again stood there for 2 hours for the rectification to be done, to be checked again whether it was 6 or 5. And then it came back again. And after that day, he said, you want that money? I'm like, yes, I want that money. He gave me a note of 200 rupees. And he said, this is how much you have earned in this whole day. I was like, what? Yes, the staff gets 200 rupees per day. And from there on, I understood what is the importance of saving each and every money. From there on, I forgot to have a perfume of 5,000. I stood there to think that I need to save every penny. Every penny saved is every penny earned. Whatever I save, I'm earning that in some. This is it. Back to you, table topic master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ayush, for that wonderful take on the topic. Of course, every penny saved is every money, every penny earned, and we've all understood how important savings is nowadays. So thank you so much for that very mature take on the topic and sharing that brilliant story. Moving on, I will now go ahead with the stand-in president of Kolkata Toastmasters Club today. Toastmaster Gurpreet, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes.
Yes. Toastmaster Gurpreet, people change, memories don't. People change, memories don't. Toastmaster Gurpreet.
Thank you, Table Topic Master, for the brilliant topic. A good evening to fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. People change, but memories don't. I remember back in my school days, I had, so to call, a friend. I don't want to take his name, but let's assume him to be Mr. X. I was in my class 12, and I remember there was a cyclone. Not to say, this friend of mine, he lived in an area which was impoverished. That day, that particular cyclone blew away the roof of his house. And the first person he called up was me. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I did not hesitate to just go over to his place. And I took my dad along with me just to ensure that this fellow of mine got the help that he required. With the help of my dad and some of his colleagues, we did manage to arrange for a night's shelter. But a night shelter was not enough. So we spoke to the local municipality and tried to get their roof recovered within a week's time. And after having passed one day at a shelter, we ensured that the next 6 days, he, his mom, his dad stayed at our place. Ladies and gentlemen, 2020, 9th of October, I am not in touch with that friend of mine. He believes that I have been all around telling people that I helped him and that I have been taking credit for it. And people have literally gone over to him and he literally believed their side of the story, not regarding the fact that I was the one who helped him in his time of need. So people do change with time. They forget the good you have done. But remember, you got to move forward. That should not stop you from doing good. Let people change. You got to do the good because you are here for that purpose. What do you think, Table Topic Master?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gurpreet, for that wonderful take on the topic. An amazing story, amazing conclusion, and amazing message. All in one. It was much more like a prepared speech for 1 or 2 minutes. So amazing table topic delivered by you. Thank you so much. Moving on, Toastmaster Deepak had, we'll just go for 2 more table topics. And Toastmaster Deepak will go for the next one. And the next one is also decided, and because she has DM'd me. So Toastmaster Deepak, can you unmute yourself? Toastmaster Deepak, money can't buy you happiness. Money can't buy you happiness, Toastmaster Deepak.
You know what they said? They said money can't buy you happiness. I said, all right, then transfer it to my bank and I'll see. They said that money can buy you bed, but can't buy you sleep. I said, let me sleep once with all my money and I'll tell you I won't wake up for the next 6 months. They said that money can buy you food and can't buy hunger. And I said, I'll eat all those food and then I'll eat you again. So I don't really believe in the fact that money can't buy happiness, but whoever lives in the poverty, have you ever seen them happy? No, right? I mean, it's not about the money, it's about the satisfaction. If you are satisfied with what you have, you will be happy. And if you are not satisfied with whatever things you have, you will live a miserable life, right? So money can buy you happiness, but you have to be satisfied with what you have it. Okay, that's all about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Deepak. When I gave him a topic, I almost knew that he's going to refute the topic and talk about this thing only, that it buys happiness for me. And I almost knew it, and he did the same. So thank you so much, Master Deepak, for actually doing what I thought that you'll be doing. But great take on the topic and a very confident delivery as well. For the last table topic speaker, I had got a DM from distinguished Toastmaster Anusha Khurana. Ma'am, can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, unmuted.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
DTM Anusha, control what is in your control. Control what is in your control, DTM Anusha.
There's a beautiful saying which goes, God, give me the courage to change what I can, to see what I can't, and to have the wisdom to differentiate between the two. This is very similar to the topic you've given me. Change what is in your control. What you're trying to say is that in life, there are going to be times when you need to change what is coming forth. Let's say you're taking an exam, the IIT exam or the IAS exam, and you're studying for it really, really hard. Now, you can change the effort that you put in, but if the result of the exam does not go as you predicted it would go, then you got to let go. There's a saying for public speakers also, do your best and let it go. You put your best in a speech, you go for the area contest, you go for the club contest, etc., etc. And then things just don't go your way, though you know they were supposed to. There you got to understand, change what you can change, but don't try and change everything because everything is not in your control. Now, there are theories in philosophy which say that life is predetermined, and that goes on a very similar principle. Time Master, please just put it in chat when my time is over. So, similarly, this fatalistic theory of life tries to teach you that do what you can do, but don't try and do something beyond it. Because if you go and try and control things which are beyond your control, all you're going to have is something negative. You're going to have a feeling of frustration, and you are not going to be motivated for your next fight in life. So, friends, control what you can, let go of what you can't, and most importantly, learn to differentiate between the two. Back to the table topics master.
Thank you so much, DTM Anusha, for that wonderful take on the topic. Every time you come on stage for a table topic, you leave us with something much more valuable than we already know. So thank you so much for that very mature take, and I completely agree with you with whatever you've said. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we come to an end of the table topic session. Amazing speeches, a lot of things to learn from the speeches. Maybe it made the session a little more fun because now we have to dive to the evaluation section. And thank you so much for each and every one of you all for participating in. And with that, I now call upon the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Piyush Jain. Over to you.
Please give a huge round of applause for our charming table topic master for such a fun session. I got to learn many things. I got to learn about health, wealth, and finally, what matters is a good memory, right, Toastmaster Komal? Uh, Last but not the least, how I connected with my mother. You can never have enough of mother's love, right? She was the happiest during the lockdown because all her family was together. She cooked delicious food for us, and that's why I have gained a little bit of weight, relatable to Toastmaster Sumit. She did one thing very particularly. She took the responsibility to teach me the etiquettes and manners of civilized society with the help of my elder sister, of course. I have lived in boys' hostel and PGs my entire life after I moved out of home. So you all can understand that my lifestyle is very different from other persons of my family. My mom decided to tame me by forcing me to take baths daily, make my own bed, clean my own clothes, and talk to extended family over phone call. Today, I can say that I have become family man. Friends, this lockdown has made me understand the importance of family and the joy of deeper connection with the family members. In this fast moving world, this reboot was very necessary for relationships to strengthen. I have found that main essence of life is in relationships and emotional connection rather than worldly success and wealth. On that note, let me call back the general evaluator of the evening for his detailed evaluation session of the speaker and the meeting in general. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for general evaluator Toastmaster Vises Mehra.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Piyush. So let's straight dive into the evaluation of the prepared speech. So the first prepared speaker, Toastmaster Mukund, is being evaluated by Toastmaster Komal. Toastmaster Komal, can you please have your evaluation?
Good evening, everyone. And a special good evening to the Jay Shetty of our Toastmasters International, Toastmaster Mukund Bubna. Thank you, Toastmaster Mukund, for giving us such a wonderful and an insightful take on life, especially when we are in a situation where all of us are going stir crazy. If I were to give an alternate name to this speech that you delivered today, it would have been Words of Wisdom by Toastmaster. I'm sure
Sorry,
not
continue.
only me, but all of us took back at least two important messages that you had to give us. That life is not all about black and white, and that we must acknowledge the gray area in between. We must not be uncomfortable with the idea of luck, but learn to acknowledge it. The second thing, that we must focus on our actions and not be worried about the result that it's going to have. So it was a well message oriented speech delivered. The second thing that I really liked about your speech was the use of rhetorical questions in the body. So there were enough pauses when you asked a rhetorical question and you explained your inference on it. So we were being able to grasp what you had to tell very effectively. The third thing that I really liked about your speech was the use of the title in the end. So it sort of gave a wholeness to your speech. Another thing that I liked about your speech was that you used an impromptu humorous line that we were being able to connect with in the starting of the speech. So kudos on being very impromptu and being able to think on your feet. And Toastmaster Mukund, you were given a feedback of to work on your facial expressions the last time you delivered the speech. I believe that you very well fulfilled it. You not only had a sarcastic laugh when you had to prove a point, but you were also serious when you were making points of life. But as you said that we are responsible for working on our actions, here are a couple of recommendations from my side that you could work on. Number one, I felt like there were a couple of times when you either forgot the speech because certain sentences, like life is not a game of chess, it is not always about the certainty, came a lot of times. So maybe you were trying to make a point, but that came as redundant. So either you could use the words uncertainty, you could give different usages of word for uncertainty, risk, so that it wouldn't sound redundant, or you could practice your speech a little more so that it you don't have to repeat or add a filler line. And the second thing that I noticed was that your camera positioning could have been a little better. You could have like at least shown till your waist so that your hand gestures came out more effectively. So in summary, I would like to state that if your hand gestures and your camera positioning would have been a little better, I'm sure with this speech and your upcoming speeches, you would ace this game of public speaking. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Komal, for that comprehensive evaluation. Toastmaster Mukund, I think so I've heard you speak after 2 to 3 years now. I still remember your speech in KTM where you banged the desk. And that was a memory which is ingrained in my mind till now. Today, the thing I loved a lot was your usage of voice modulation, because in this virtual podium, the lack of body gestures, the lack of physical presence, it can be overcome by voice modulation, which you did very, very well in your speech. You even had props, you had a great message, but I have only one suggestion for you. While you were speaking, you tend to move very close to the camera. You were When you were delivering a line, you came close, then you went back. Again, you came close, you went back, which, as an audience member, which was very odd to me. So, as our evaluator said, that you could place the camera in a better way so that this movement is not that prominent, because most of your face filled up the area of the camera. So it was very prominent. So either you could do that, or you could try to reduce this movement while you're delivering a line. But all in all, it was an amazing speech with a great message. Keep coming back, and I hope to see you deliver many more speeches here at KTM. Thank you, Toastmaster Mukund. Moving on was the amazing workshop presented by Toastmaster DTM Siddharth Churiwal. So whenever you speak, I feel like I should always have a small diary or notebook and say and name it Gyan by Toastmaster Siddharth Churiwal. Because the amount of knowledge you give each and every one of us to deal with certain life situations at work, it is immense. And for young minds like us, it is brilliant because it helps us grow. Our TMOD also said that it helped him grow and he could use all of that in his organization. So, sir, you are really an asset to this club, and please keep delivering such workshops and such speeches to help us grow as individuals. So thank you so much for your workshop today. Moving on was the table topic session, my favorite session for the day, which was conducted by Toastmaster Rahul. And I will come to Toastmaster Rahul a little later on. First, I'll try to evaluate the table topic speakers in brief. First was Toastmaster Komal. Toastmaster Komal, you had a very good story, but you did not have a conclusion. You related the stories to the topic, but without a conclusion, any speech is incomplete. So try to mingle the story. You could have given a twist to your stories and said that we should live each and every moment of these memories, soak it in as much as we can, and not miss the essence of our memories. You could have added this conclusion as a message to each and every one of us, but you gave a great personal story. And as I say, keep coming back to the stage for table topics, because that is the only way you grow. Next up, Toastmaster Sumit, who gave a very relatable story of himself about gaining weight during the lockdown period and how he tried to cut down his weight. So, Toastmaster Sumit, I again have a similar kind of suggestion for you, that add a conclusion, add a message. For me, table topic is a story with a particular message to go along with it, which is related to the entire topic. That is a complete table topic for me. You were giving brilliant stories, brilliant examples, but the conclusion for me was missing. So Toastmaster Sumit, work on that. Toastmaster Ayush, your topic was a penny saved was a penny earned. Toastmaster Ayush, when you started off with the story, I was like, where is he going with this story? But the way you tied up the story and the topic in the end in your conclusion, it was brilliant and made the topic complete. So a job very well done. Keep coming back, and I'm sure you'll keep growing as a table topic speaker. Next, Toastmaster Gurpreet. Sir, you are an amazing storyteller. The expressions, the way you build up the story, and the way you deliver the message through your story, and then point out the message in the conclusion, it shows that you're an amazing storyteller, which is very suited for table topics. So the only thing I have for you to say is a job very well done, and please, as always, keep coming back. Next, Toastmaster Deepak. Every time Toastmaster Deepak comes onto stage for table topics, I know I'm in for a laugh. Such a weird start, Toastmaster Deepak. It grabbed, I could say, grabbed each and every one of our attention, which was a job very well done. But then you confused me a bit by contradicting what you were saying, but then you tied the topic in the end by giving a proper message. For a job very well done, but you have to work on the organization of your speech a little. it was a bit wayward for me. It wasn't right to the point. It was a bit wayward. So work on the organization a bit more, but a job very well done today, Toastmaster Deepak. And coming to the last speaker, which was DTM Anusha. DTM Anusha, it is always a pleasure to hear you speak on a table topic, because if somebody would ask me, give a model table topic, it would be your table topic speech, because you started with a quote, then you had a story example, then you had another example, then you tied all the examples in a message, and it was an absolute pleasure hearing you speak on the podium today. So thank you for delivering your topic, Toastmaster Anusha. Moving on, I would like to take the reports of my role players for today. So starting off with the timer for the day, Toastmaster Deepak.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishesh. So all the speakers were on time and nobody is disqualified.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster Deepak. Moving on to the grammarian for the day, Toastmaster Oishika.
Yeah. Let me share my screen again. One second. Well, to be honest, after a point of time, I became so nervous that I could not find any not so good usages of grammar, that I was frantically searching for it after a point of time. Anyway, so the word of the day was used by Toastmaster Rahul Nair once, and the not so good usages of grammar, which are very few. Take on topic would be take on the topic. Information that has access to the president could have been information that the president has access to. For which they refused could have been to which they refused. They counts could have been they count. Share my lockdown experience with my father could have been share my lockdown experience that I had with my father. And there are plenty of good usages of grammar. So I don't know if I can read all of them out because there are plenty, but I will definitely have it written in the chat box because I think time is also a constraint. So yeah, these are all the good usages of grammar. Should I go on and read them or should I?
Yes, please.
Okay. Gained expertise and entrail, calm as cucumber, impoverished by TM Gurpreet Singh, like a whirlwind by Toastmaster Purbita Datta, eyes set on, coveted cash prize, go hand in hand, positive correlation, tactics of deception by Toastmaster Mukund Bubna, jostling, passive aggressive, laid back at the drop of a hat, whether rain comes or shine by DTM Siddharth Churiwal, concrete decision by guest Shravasti Chakravarti, in for a laugh by Toastmaster Vishesh Mehra. Thank you. That's my report. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Oishika, for such a comprehensive report. Just one point of suggestion to you. For the good usages of grammar, you don't have to give the name of the person who has spoken. You just have to give the good usages of grammar. Same goes for the not so good usages of grammar. So keep this in mind the next time you take up the role. But a job very well done today, Toastmaster Oishika. Moving on to the R counter, which is Toastmaster Rahul Nair.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. So I have noted a couple of words. So Toastmasters Mukund has used word once and word once. Toastmaster Komal used word 3 times, word 1 times and 1 long pause. Toastmaster Sumit used word multiple times. Toastmaster Gurpreet had 1 long pause. Rest were flawless. Back to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rahul, for your report. Moving on is the report of the wow counter by a wow person, Toastmaster Purbita Datta.
So this meeting was really interesting from a great speech that we started with, and that very interesting workshop as well that we learned so much from. So it was kind of tough to choose 3 moments, but here they are. So coming in third, I really loved Toastmaster Piyush Jain's theme of the day, which was about familial love and connection. And he truly has like a very infectious smile, as Toastmaster Gurpreet had pointed out in the beginning. And all of it brought a lot of warmth and geniality to the meeting. The second position, this is not, I don't know, it's not like a prize or anything, but coming in at number 2, Toastmaster Mukund Bhuvana's 90% chance of winning but still losing. That kind of shows us how our life usually has a very cruel sense of humor, and we can just try our best, but a lot of the times we can't always control the outcome. And the moment that really wowed me was, it was not just a moment, it was an entire 30-minute workshop by distinguished Toastmaster Siddharth Churiwal, which was about conflict management. It was very insightful. You could see that he was speaking from experience, and I loved that 2x2 matrix in the beginning about assertiveness and cooperation, and it was I learned a lot from it, so I really loved that. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pulbita. Moving on is the parliamentarian for the moving on to the parliamentarian for the day, Toastmaster Sohini. Can you please have the report?
Thank you, General Evaluator. I'm glad to report that everyone followed the parliamentary norms and regulations today, hence preventing momentary fiasco. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sohini, for your short and crisp report. So now I would like to evaluate the meeting in general. So starting with Toastmaster Sumit. Toastmaster Sumit, you started the meeting right on time, which is a job very well done, especially in the virtual podium. You said all the rules, you spoke on the theme, and you gave an introduction for Toastmaster Shreya, but she couldn't be in the meeting. So on the spot, you gave an introduction again for Toastmaster Gurpreet was the standing president, which was a job very well done. But one point of suggestion on my part to you, Toastmaster Sumit, is that take a deep breath before you come onto stage, because you felt a bit too fast. You were very nervous and you weren't calm on stage. Initially, we need a calming presence on stage, calming but excited. So you need to slow down a bit, because as soon as you started, you were like, "Good evening and welcome to this number meeting of Kolkata Toastmasters Club." This isn't calming. This is way too fast. So calm down a bit while delivering your Sergeant at Arms address. Moving on to the stand-in president, Toastmaster Gurpreet. Toastmaster Gurpreet, you had an amazing take on the topic. You had a calm and composed presence on stage, and you called upon the guests to give their introduction, and your calming presence helped the guests to give their introduction in a proper manner. And you had a presence of mind that if you leave out any guest, to let them know to give their introduction in the chat box. So it was a job very well done. I think so you missed out one point about the minutes of the meeting to be passed. So please keep that in mind. It is an important norm to ask if the minutes of the meeting for the previous meeting is passed. So, but barring that, it was a great presidential address on your part. Next was the amazing Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Piyush, who took us to his own house to show us his lockdown in the theme Lockdown Diary. And I loved the concept you had, where in each part where you had to speak, you gave us your relationship with one of your family members, which was a great concept. You did your homework well, you were very well prepared. You had an introduction for almost each and every one. But Toastmaster Piyush, one point of suggestion is that you had a lot of content for this to be a Toastmaster of the Day role. So your role is to make sure that the meeting goes smoothly. You move from one part to the other in a smooth manner. If you put so much of content in the middle, it kind of disrupts the flow of the meeting, and the meeting becomes longer than it needs to be. You can put in your own parts, but constrict it to a certain limit. But your role was very well played today. You had humor, you made everyone comfortable. So keep coming back on stage, keep taking up this role. This role needs a lot of preparation, I know, but you played this role in a very, very good manner. So keep coming back and keep going. Moving on to the table topic master, that is Toastmaster Rahul. Toastmaster Rahul, your introduction was flawless. You spoke about the theme, then you gave the rules in a proper manner and format, and you also encouraged the speakers to come up onto the stage and speak. You gave good topics, and the mark of a good table topic master is that each and every speaker can speak out on the topic and give personal stories on that topic. So the topics were comparatively simple, and each and every one could relate a personal story to those topics. So that was a job very well done. You even spoke in between topics, but I thought initially something you rectified through the speech. Initially, you spoke a bit too much after a topic, then you cut it down a bit. So keep that in mind to constrict how much you speak after a topic. All right. And one more point of suggestion is that you could try to come to relate the topic to the theme. I know it's not a simple job to get so many topics related to the theme, but you could have taken lockdown in some way and you could have related it to your table topics. That would look much more better. But all in all, a job very well done. So I hope I'm not missing out on anybody. And that's it from my side. Moving on to the stand-in president for the day, Toastmaster Gurpreet Singh. The stage is yours, sir.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vishesh, for that detailed evaluation. Keep the applause going for Toastmaster Vishesh. That was indeed brilliant and insightful, Toastmaster Vishesh. Now, the moment for which we all are waiting, the results. But before that, I would like to take a quick feedback from the guests. Any guest, who has not spoken or has spoken in the beginning would like to express their feedback. I think we can just go to guest Tarun. He was here for some time. Guest Tarun, would you like to speak something? Give your feedback.
Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. This is my first Toastmaster meeting, actually. So it overall it was a very good experience, and initially I had some problem with the audio, but Gurpreet helped me out, with the audio, and overall the experience was really good, and I will keep coming as a guest for now, but I'm very serious about joining the club as well.
Thank you so much. Keep coming, as you said, and keep learning at Kolkata Toastmasters Club.
Yeah.
And any other
Yes,
guest,
sure.
I think guest Shravasti, if you would like to give your final comments.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity. Well, what I really enjoyed a lot about the meeting that I just attended was the detailed feedback that was provided to each and every person for all the various steps that formed a part of the meeting today. I mean, I think that's a job well done. I mean, that really made me feel good. And I believe it is only that kind of a detailed feedback which actually enables us to improve our style of speaking. I really enjoyed that. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for expressing your views. And any other guest who would like to give a final feedback? Or then we'll proceed with the results. Okay. First of all, thank you to the speakers, to the role players, to evaluator. We had just one evaluator, that is Toastmaster Komal. Distinguished Toastmaster Siddharth Churiwal, thank you for your workshop. Thank you to Toastmaster Mukund for your wonderful speech. Thank you to all the other role players. Thank you, Toastmaster Rahul, for that brilliant table topic session. The other ancillary role players. It was just an amazing, excuse me if I'm missing someone, but you were all fabulous this Friday evening, 7 p.m. Moving on to the final step of this meeting, that is the results we have all been waiting for. We are not having the best speaker and the best evaluator award this evening because we had just one speaker and one evaluator, and both of them are winners, to be very honest. Moving on to the best role player for the evening, that is among the Toastmaster of the day, the general evaluator, and the table topic master. And no surprises, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to prolong it. It's almost close to 9. The best role player for this evening is none other than Toastmaster Rahul Maheshwari. Let's keep the applause going for Toastmaster Rahul, the table topic master.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
The best auxiliary role player for the evening, Dhiren and Martin for this meeting, Toastmaster Oishika Ghosh Mojumdar as the grammarian. Keep the applause going. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The most improved speaker, I'll come to the best table topic speaker in the end. The most improved speaker, the champion, as I call him. He says he hasn't won at the division level, but I consider him to be a champion, none other than Toastmaster Vishesh Mehra. Congratulations, Toastmaster Vishesh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ghosh.
And finally, the best table topic speaker for the evening, distinguished Toastmaster Anusha Khurana. Keep the applause going. Congratulations, distinguished Toastmaster Anusha.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You are really amazing every time you're on stage. Now with that, we come to the end of this meeting, but we meet again next Friday, 7 p.m. The link will be posted. You should be here for another insightful evening next Friday, 7 p.m. Till then, take care. Good night. Bye-bye, everyone.